Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you jumping on. Nice meeting you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me.
Cool. Thanks again for coming on. Who are you? What do you do, man?
Yeah. So my name's Bobby Kough. I buy brand, one of the partners in it. So we primarily wholesale. We're in St. Louis, Little Rock, and Wichita right now.
Badass. Yeah, I've heard of y'all, I think, from Scott. I like y'all's branding and stuff, and that sign in the background is pretty cool. If somebody's listening to this, they can't see it. Sorry, but that's awesome, man. How'd y'all get started with that?
Yeah, I work with Jimmy Vriland. He's a pretty notable guy in St. Louis, and his name's kind of blowing up a little bit nationally. But I was in the military, started flipping some houses, was getting tired of the pay in the military, was looking for some ways to make money. My background was in engineering. And so I was working with a headhunter to find a job at Raytheon or Honeywell or something like that. And then the guy knew Jimmy. Jimmy went to West Point, played football, so did I. So that was our connection. And he was like, "Hey, you seem to like real estate." I was at Fort Leonard Wood, which is only about an hour and a half from St. Louis. He's like, "You want to stick in real estate and meet up with Jimmy?" Change of plans. We were planning on going back to Phoenix, Arizona, ended up staying out in St. Louis. And then about 3 years in, we made the decision that, hey, we got something that's working. Let's take it and apply it to different markets.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool. And thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we wholesale a lot out of Texas, and our across the country stuff's just like mobile home parks and stuff. So yeah, it's
Nice.
great meeting you. I'm glad you could get on here. What does y'all's business look like today? I know how you got started now, so what are y'all doing now?
Yeah, so we primarily brand ourselves as like a wholesale operation, obviously direct to seller. In terms of dispo, Jimmy kind of started off a little bit more turnkey. Like he built a pretty good turnkey operation. Just where the market sits, we're doing a lot of wholesale. He has an education platform, and a lot of our buyers come from that education platform. So we'll wholesale to them. We have other kind of like sister entities. We have a leasing company, construction management. So we do the done for you real estate model. But I buy specifically, we're wholesale innovations
Hell yeah. Man, that's an interesting model to sell the wholesale.
because of the demand, which is a cool problem to have.
Yeah, and you have to do right by them because they're paying for mentorship too. So I like that actually. That's cool.
Yeah, it definitely forces some brand accountability. That's for sure.
As far as marketing, I heard from you from Scott, so I'm assuming one of y'all's marketing channels mail.
Yeah, so we're big on direct mail. They crush it for us. Our ROAS is great with them. TV,
Yeah.
TV's our other really big leg. We do a little bit of PPC. We got away from a lot of the outbound stuff just
Yeah.
because the legality and the texting platforms were getting shut down every other week, it seemed. So really the three legs that we stand on right now are direct mail, TV, and PPC.
That's cool. TV, how does that look? Is that just, I guess, old people like they watch
Yeah.
a lot of the news, huh?
Dude, we looked at our annual revenue, I think yesterday, and TV's all the way on the right. It's a bar chart. TV's all the way on the right. Direct mail is pretty good, but TV just crushes for us.
Badass. Are y'all like nighttime or morning or afternoon or all, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it's a volume play. So we've moved to working with local. So we were working with like the typical real estate TV folks. We weren't getting the bang for our buck, so we went to local. So yeah, anytime there's news rolling, we try to get in there. Like we have our specific channels. We're doing it in St. Louis and Little Rock right
Oh,
now.
dude, we had a campaign in Little Rock because we close for people. Our model is they buy leads and we have 10 partners and we have a split and we just close. We found out we were good at closing. So we just closed for people. We got one in Little Rock. Dude, we locked up a lot, but the fees were just like they were small. And I was like, do you have to be in like a mafia like of like buyers here? Because everybody was like offering nothing for these properties.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we got out there, we got super lucky. It's one of those things that you can't really make a repeatable process out of it. We got linked in with an agent that was selling to, because turnkey operations are huge out there, right? Because it seems like they all start in Memphis and the natural progression is go west a little bit to Little Rock. So we found the lady that basically bought all the houses for them. So we were just wholesaling through them, inserting Jimmy's education buyers. That made it a little bit more competitive. So I think we're averaging about a 18K profit per deal out there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we started backing out there because we were like, crap, we had some really low deals. I'm talking, we had some 5 and 6G pops, and we are like, screw this. We,
Yeah.
we'd find buyers in Facebook and everywhere else, like you do, the cash buyers, all this stuff. It didn't
Right.
matter how cheap we locked them up. We had a duplex over there for 15K. We couldn't move.
Yeah. Yeah. We went through that phase of, we called it stacking paper.
Yeah.
We were like, my brother actually runs the Little Rock market. And dude, we would have so many contracts. And I would look at our pipeline and I'm like, yo, what's going on with all of this? And he said, I just can't move it.
Yeah.
So we were pretty intentional about weeding that lower value stuff out. And since we've done that, it's been pretty good so far.
That's badass, man. What does y'all's team look like today?
Yeah, so we're trying to run like a hub and spoke model with St. Louis kind of being the operational hub. So basically anything operational, we have a team of lead managers. We have 4 American lead managers. Really the people that are boots on the ground in the market are the acquisitions reps. And we actually are running a hybrid in Little Rock where for the first 4 or 5 months, it was all virtual. We just hired a guy on 2 weeks ago that's going to be our boots on the ground presence. So all of the training, all the CRM, everything is maintained in St. Louis just because we have the experience compared to the other markets. And then people will come in, they'll train in St. Louis, and then they'll go out to whatever market they've decided to work in.
That's cool, man. You said virtual. Was that like VAs or just like virtual, like people were working on?
Oh, no. So virtual. So we do have a little bit of that. Like we have one lead manager that's in Tennessee and she's just Zoom calls on the phone. That's just the culture a little bit. But no, virtual acquisitions. So locking stuff up over the phone. We take like a hybrid approach, right? We have a criteria where it's like absentee owners or, certain demographics. It's, yeah, we could take care of it over the phone. And then we have that boots on the ground present for grandma that doesn't feel comfortable transacting over the phone.
Yeah, you do some belly to belly, some virtual.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had this idea in my brain. It's been hell to do it, but we've had some traction lately. And I'm like, man, with the way technology is, the way like VAs are and stuff, I was like, I know we can get an infrastructure going. I just don't know how to do it. And we started with Americans, but then now we're like all VAs. And
Really?
today was like the first day that, because usually we got to jump in and do everything. But today was like the
Yeah.
first day they like locked the deal up. The dude, I told him not to renegotiate it because we didn't have an offer. The dude still renegotiated. It got 20 G's off, and our Dispo VA found the buyer. And I was like, that is cool. Like the whole circle just went first time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. So I'm like, in my brain, I'm gonna do this model.
It would be scalable, right? Like you can do it at scale and probably stay pretty lean.
So that's in my brain, man. So what about on Dispo? I love picking wholesalers' brains, and it helps people that are listening to this that are getting in experience, not experience, whatever. What y'all's Dispo? And don't share any key secrets that you want to, whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, usually, so our approach on the acquisition side, we've actually revamped it and it plays into Dispo really well. So I'll talk a little bit of acquisitions first and then how that feeds into Dispo. So for the first 3 years in St. Louis, like we were heavy on the Mayo approach, right? Max allowable offer. We were going in with our calculators. Our sales guys were playing both underwriter and sales guy. We were going in and what we realized, like we would pass them off to education buyers. Something would happen. And with those people being wrapped up in our ecosystem, it was really easy for the other entities to come back and say, hey, I buy you. You sold this too high. We might need to make this right with the seller, give them 5K, give them 10K. Because, we want the repeat business because each of these guys that come in, guys and gals, we're hoping they buy 10, 15, 20 properties from us over the course of their lifetime with the organization. We switched it up and we went, and this is actually something I got from Eric Brewer's team. Eric Brewer's a big time guy in Pennsylvania. His guy, Joe, rolled this out. And it's actually going for lowest acceptable offer. Once we implemented that, we gave ourselves a lot more flexibility on the dispo side. So what we saw is before we had, okay, these really defined buckets on dispo is, hey, this deal's only going to be a wholesale deal. And we know that, and we have to make it happen. And if we don't, sorry. And that's bad for reputation, brand, all that. And then we would have our super defined novation deals that are a longer timeline, stuff like that. When we started implementing lowest acceptable offer, we were getting the terms for a novation deal, which is about 90-day terms, consistent access to the house. We were getting those at cash prices, which really opened up dispo. So now obviously terms can be a constraint for our dispo. Like certain terms have to be moved a certain way. But for the most part, we get something under contract. We'll have 90 days to figure out what we're going to do with it. If it's a good deal, we'll have it sold within 2-3 weeks to an education client. If not, we'll go the novation route. It's really asset by asset, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give ourselves as many options as possible.
That's cool. And what does that formula look like or process look like on the lowest allowable offer?
Yeah. So we're going in and it's really, we're trying to, and instead of like the sales mindset of getting their price first, what we're trying to do is we're trying to go in and we're trying to build trust. So like the whole process is the foundation of it is trust. It's really the prerequisite. You can't do it unless you've spent an hour building trust with the seller. So longer appointments, stuff like that. We go in, we build trust, and then we're giving this anchor that most of the time our acquisitions guys feel uncomfortable giving to set the stage. And then through that, we're pulling on the levers of time, price, convenience to get them to, hey, I have this problem. I need to sell my house. Like this is the lowest amount that I can actually accept in order to make that happen. So it's a little bit more nuanced than that. That was like the high level expectation or explanation, but yeah.
I know like when we do innovations, we're usually the value, whatever we think it can move for in like 60 days or less. We'll take 10% out for closing costs, realtors, closing whatever, and then 30K. That's like our innovation formula,
Yeah.
right? Not ARV, but actual what we think market value is. And we'll subtract it out from there. But we started like Arkansas, I know we listed everything on MLS, even cash deals, everything. And we started having better traction, but damn, we couldn't find a good agent to save our lives.
Dude, that's the struggle for sure. We've brought some in-house because then we can manage the fees, right? We're not paying full commission on every deal that we work. It just wouldn't be feasible. Yeah, we figured that out in St. Louis. That's the one piece that because Little Rock's only 3 weeks old. It's actually really new. Or not Little Rock. Wichita's only 3 weeks old. So we're working on that piece in Wichita. I think we got lucky in Little Rock, and then St. Louis, we've been somewhat established. But that makes all the difference. If you don't have an agent that's going to get out there and hustle, it's a grind.
We had this agent, dude. So we find a buyer and we renegotiate. I don't remember all the terms, but it was like a decent deal. We renegotiate, and somehow the agent talks the buyer out of it. The buyer calls us, like, we want out of this deal, and we're not the file a memo on your house type of company. I hate it unless I have to and I got money tied up. Right. I'm
Right.
like, whatever. And I didn't know the agent did this. I just thought they were throwing a fit. I was like, whatever, let them out. Let's keep rolling. We're busy. And then I find out that the agent goes back over there just to list the property and sell it to the buyer. I was like, damn. And we were going to pay the full commission, but I don't know. It's just freaking weird. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a broker myself, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we had experiences similar to that where we've had some agents get on their moral high horse. And you hear it a lot now, especially with regulations through states. They're just bashing wholesalers. We've had some agents do that. And as a result of that, we have all the upfront legal documentation, non-competes, which are becoming maybe less viable now.
Yeah.
But we try to bring in the right people and scare them off with that paperwork if possible.
Yeah. What do you think is the best advice to give to people that are looking to get into this game and kind of some pitfalls that y'all ran into early on and even midway? Maybe not what would y'all have done different because I hate that question, but what would other people starting to do?
Yeah, I think the frame that you need to operate within when you're getting started is you're not a real estate business, like you're a sales and marketing business. Right. So a lot of what we did start off with the cowboy hustle operation, and I think that's a super necessary phase. Times are a little bit different. We were able to hop on a texter and blast away. That's like going away, becoming a lot more litigated and all that stuff. But no, I would say to somebody starting out, don't overestimate like how much time it's going to, or underestimate how much time it's going to take. And then it's just consistency. Get into that first deal. Once you get there, if you play it smart with reinvesting the money back into marketing, whatever you're doing, it will eventually snowball. Most of the time, I'll have buddies that hit me up and they're like, hey, I want to start wholesaling. They fail because they quit. That's it. They just don't stick with it. They underestimate the amount of time that it's going to take. And it's no, you're trying to run a sales and marketing operation.
I like that, dude. And I like that you said time. I think that's huge. That's such a huge piece. Me and Nicole actually were talking the other day about, I was getting frustrated because I'm just like a wired closer. It's easy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not like detail oriented, right? Everybody has their strengths.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll get frustrated and some of the reps sometimes are like, why didn't you see that? We got to talking. It's just like, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
It takes time for everybody. And I think what you said just nailed it on the head. If people would just take the time and not quit, they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 100%. And then when you ask like midterm, the midterm advice is once you get going, what I've recognized is mindset across the organization is a huge thing, right? Because in the wholesale game, it's frustrating, but you could be down. Let's say you set a target, you could be down to the nth hour, and then you just hit something that works. You hit a week of appointments that were just gold. So it is a roller coaster, and managing your emotions throughout that roller coaster
yeah.
is huge. Like we've been in the valley of despair often until we figured that out. Dude, I have a closer that he came in, he's about 4 months in, crushing it. He pulled in two consecutive back-to-back months, he pulled in 75K rips.
Hell
The
yeah.
organization hasn't seen that
Yeah.
ever. So we're like, this dude's a baller. And then I had a one-on-one with him today, and he's like down in the dumps. It's about to be Friday. He doesn't have a contract. I'm like, dude, just keep going. Every appointment is a new opportunity. Just don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. I came from the oil field, oil and gas for 13 years. We worked around the clock like 24/7. It was nuts.
Yeah.
And whenever I went into real estate full time, dude, this is freaking cake. Not like our industry's hard. I don't want anybody to think this is hard, but I'm saying like you get to sleep, you get to manage your schedule, like you get to function. There's a lot of perks. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, I experienced the same thing coming out of the military.
yeah,
I have some control. Like I can go to my fridge midday and
yeah,
grab something that's good. But it is, I think the way to put it is it's not easy. It's simple. Yeah. Like it's simple. Like you just got to get up, you got to do it. But yeah, I feel you on that.
last thing I like to ask people too is I do a little coaching too. And I had a client the other day and he's just, man, I can't get my schedule down. Same kind of story that you said your other closer had. The dude had a 100K month, takes a month off, goes on vacation. And you know how that goes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Comes back, momentum's down. And he's, I can't get my schedule right. And before all the pieces were, you know how it goes. You just have those months, everything's just going your way. Talking to one of your coaching client or one of your, I guess your acquisitions people. I don't know if you ever run across that, but schedule. Like, how do you recommend people schedule their days, closers, real estate, anything?
Yeah. That's a good question. We operate big boy, big girl rules, right? I typically like to see 2 or 3 appointments per day, especially for the boots on the ground guys. You got to count for drive time, follow ups, all that stuff. We actually touched on this today. It was complete chaos for him at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Being on all the sinks, the huddles. But I think it's maximizing that time that a lot of people just see as downtime. What are you doing in the car? So I was an acquisitions rep for about 2.5 years in St. Louis. That's what kind of got me started. And it's, hey, are you messing around, listening to music? Are you doing this? Or are you, listening to podcasts that are going to get you in the zone, like stuff like that? That's a good question, man. I really haven't put a whole lot of thought into the schedule management other than it's like, I don't care what time you get off. As long as your numbers look good, you've hit 2 to 3 appointments a day. That's all we really care about.
I broke out a piece of paper and I was like, look, this is how my mind works. Simple in percentages. So I was like, okay, like health, like I could tell you between working out, meditating, whatever, it's 4 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
Hanging out with him, it's 4 hours a day. Work's about 8 hours a day. Sleeps is, and I had these percentages. And I was like, which ones do you think are doing the best? And we did his, and it was flip flopped, right? And I was like, that's your problem. And he's
Yeah.
like, holy hell, like the percentage just needs to go up.
Yeah. That's a good point. You gave me clarity on that. There's guys, we have buddies in the masterminds that we're in, and we'll collaborate. And I was in an accountability group with some of them. And yeah, they completely avoid taking care of themselves and expect them to have this optimized work day. And it's, dude, that it just doesn't work that way.
I appreciate you coming on. I think we got to wrap it up. I got another mastermind to jump on.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find you?
Instagram and Facebook, Bobby Kough. Last name's Kough, not CO. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, that's probably the best place to find me.
Oh, yeah. We all keep crushing it. Thanks for jumping on. Very nice meeting you, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
All right, dude.